Visionaries, what's going on? Jason Osborne back again with another video. And today, well, we are talking about the battle of the light. Yes, natural light versus off-camera flash. Which is better for you? Why do some photographers strictly shoot in natural light and why do some strictly shoot with off-camera flash? Or some are like me and we like to use both. So I'm going to be discussing the pros and cons of each coming up. Okay, so we're just gonna jump right into it and we're gonna talk about natural light first. What are some of the pros of shooting in natural light? Well, for me, one of the biggest pros is the emotion and the actual feeling that natural light can give its images. I love shooting natural light when it comes to family portraits, weddings, engagement sessions. These are the types of sessions that really bring out the best of couples, and that light, especially if you shoot during golden hour or on a nice cloudy day where the light is soft and diffused, can really offer your images a spectacular look. Another pro that is used for natural light is that it's less gear involved. All you have to bring is your camera, your lens, and maybe a reflector if that's your thing, but that's all I usually carry with me. Having less gear in a session can definitely improve the session overall because you're not worrying about fiddling with your lights or carrying a whole bunch of stuff around. You're actually flowing with the session. It's allowing for a smoother session. And at the end of the day, that's going to result in better images because the client's going to be comfortable and so are you as a photographer. Now, getting into some of the cons of natural light, well, it goes back to the weather. You're always going to be chasing the sun. Once that sun goes down, that might be it for you. Also, depending on if you're a strictly natural light photographer, you might have to reschedule a session or two because you might not be able to get the optimal weather that you're looking for. Another con is that you're only limited to one light source, and that can be difficult, especially for new photographers when the light is just not working appropriately. When you're shooting a client and say the only time they could meet is at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. If you're not experienced in shooting in that kind of harsh light and there's nowhere to get an even shade or even cast against your subject, then that can definitely cause a problem for you. So only having one light source, which is that sun in the sky, can work against you sometimes, and natural light can definitely fall short when it comes to taking pictures of clients if you don't know how to handle it. The last con is that you could actually miss out on some opportunities and some gigs that pay good money because you only use natural light. A lot of professional photography gigs require you to use some kind of external light source, whether it be constant or flash or off-camera flash. And not knowing how to use those types of different light sources can definitely hurt your photography career as a professional. Now, let's jump into off-camera flash. Off-camera flash is known as OCF in the photography world. And basically, that is when you have an external light source, whether it be constant or actual flash, typically it's a flash, and it's off of your camera. So it's not the flash that pops up on your camera, which by the way, you should never be using anyway, but it's a flash that might be on a light stand or, on a tripod, or maybe a friend's holding it. Either way, it's an external flash outside of the camera, off of the camera, that's used to help illuminate your subject. Now, what are some of the pros of using off-camera flash? Well, the number one pro is that you have 100% control of all the light around you. You're not going to have that one light source in the sky, but you might have 2 light sources, 3 light sources. Depending on how many flashes you want to use during your session, that's how much control you're going to have. And you're going to be able to control both not only the light that's exposing your subject, but the ambient light, that natural light around you. Another advantage to using off-camera flash is that it can get you paid. A lot of professional photography when it comes to headshots, weddings, food photography, commercial, they're going to require some sort of off-camera flash to produce the quality of images that natural light just can't compete with. So learning the skill of off-camera flash, investing in the gear of off-camera flash, while it can be cumbersome, is something that can actually bring awesome returns to your business if you're really good at it. Using off-camera flash can be addicting at sometimes, and you might not ever want to go back to shooting natural light. But doing that and really getting good at off-camera flash can bring you a lot of good business and really enhance your portfolio. But it's not all good with off-camera flash. What are some of the cons? Well, obviously the first con is it's more gear. And I'm still not used to lugging a big cart around with my flash, my stands, the triggers, the flashes itself. the diffusers, etc., etc. It's just a lot to handle. And if it's a windy day and you don't have any sandbags or someone to hold it, then you're risking breaking not only your flash or damaging your diffuser, because typically on a windy day, they're gonna get knocked over. There is nothing worse than having to drag a bunch of equipment around on a Houston summer day trying to shoot family. No matter if the pictures come out awesome or not, it's just so annoying to have to do, but it's a necessary sacrifice to get the kind of quality that that customer might be expecting. But yeah, the number one con for me is at least that you just have to lug around so much more gear. Another con, at least for some photographers, is that the added expense of being an off-camera flash photographer. Now, you don't have to spend a lot of money to get involved with off-camera flash, but sooner or later, you're gonna start to realize the advantages and disadvantages of only using a speed light to a strobe, or getting a small diffuser to a big diffuser, etc., etc. Spending the extra money investing in your business is just part of the game. But some people may not be able to afford those 8200s or that 8400 or that 8600. These are expensive strobes that I'm mentioning. They range anywhere between $400 to $800. So it's expensive to start with off-camera flash, especially the quality items. And that was on, the off-brand. If you're going with, pro photos or anything like that, that can start getting into the thousands of dollars when it comes to using off-camera flash. So you're probably gonna have to save some money up at some point so you can really get some quality flashes to light your subjects. But at the end, it will be worth it when you start making money on that return. But it's still a con because not everybody wants to spend or has the money to spend to really get a lot of off-camera flash gear. Another con that I don't think a lot of people think about when it comes to off-camera flash is that it can really be disruptive to a photography session. When it comes to photography, you want everything to flow. You want your customer to really hit their groove, start hitting their poses, really taking direction well, and you don't want to have to fiddle with your settings every time you switch light sources or you switch directions, which typically is what happens. Now, if you're a skilled photographer or you know how to really work around off-camera flash, making adjustments to your light source won't really take a long time. So yes, there is a little bit more technicality when it comes to using off-camera flash, and that technicality, while it produces results, can also, really disrupt a session and prevent it from flowing smoothly. And the last con for off-camera flash is that it can really limit where you can shoot. Houston, they have a bunch of nice parks in the city, and some of them will allow you to shoot permit free if you're going to shoot natural light, meaning you can just bring your camera, bring your subject, and no one's going to bother you. But as soon as you pop open a light stand or you pop up an umbrella to shoot with off-camera flash, that's when they need to get paid, because they see that as a signifier that this is a professional shoot on their property and you do not have a permit. So you either have to exit or you have to buy a permit or pay whoever owns the property to shoot on their land. So that is something that could really, hurt a business, especially if you're not prepared for that. And it's funny that, a light stand or a flash can really make the difference between someone's viewing you as a professional or an amateur, but that's really how it goes. So which is better? What is, better overall for photography, natural light or off-camera flash? Now, when it comes to photography, obviously I'm not talking about landscape or, street photography or anything like that, because you really can't use off-camera flash in those types of photography. But when it comes to portrait work, when it comes to headshots, when it comes to commercial work, yes, off-camera flash is definitely used a lot. My advice to anyone who's trying to decide if they should get invested in off-camera flash because they're typically only shooting natural light is yes, you should do both. A skilled photographer is going to know how to shoot in many natural light conditions, and they're going to know how to use off-camera flash when the time calls for it. And that's how you're going to maximize the amount of business you get, because your clients are going to be able to understand that no matter what the conditions are, you're going to be able to produce good images. So there you go, natural light versus off-camera flash. I really don't think that there is a true answer to which one is better. I think it comes down to the photographer and the kind of work they do and the kind of clients they have. If I was a family photographer, a wedding photographer, natural light is probably what I would shoot the most of, because I just love the look that it gives to those types of pictures. Now, if I'm a headshot photographer, a business photographer, fashion photographer, I'm probably gonna be more well-versed in using off-camera flash. Each has its pros and its cons, as I just discussed. So I'm gonna leave the decision up to you on what's best for your business. Anyway, I hope you learned something today. If you have any questions about off-camera flash or natural light or how to get better results in both, please leave it in the comment section below. I'll be sure to, answer your question and help out the best way that I can. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This is Jason Osborne, and I'll see you in the next video. Talk to you later. Peace.